Hello everybody, this is Dom from Upstate Supernatural. I'd like to welcome everybody in for another session of Loving Whispers. And I'm just checking my my audio on my microphone. And my camera's all, in a different weird angle. So it's always fun on a Thursday night. I'd like to welcome in Renee and James as well. I'm going to go to James first. You're on, buddy.
Sure. I'd like to welcome everyone in the room tonight. As usual, I hope we have a good session tonight. We pick up some decent responses. It's been quiet lately, so we're going to try something a little different. We'll get Dom to explain that one after. Beyond that, I hope everyone enjoys their time with us and like and subscribe. Dom?
And Renee, I got you on as well.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Loving Whispers. We're really glad that you're here this evening, and it's pretty windy here in New York State, and I don't know if it'll affect our communication. Maybe it'll enhance it. We'll see. But as long as the rain stays away and the wind is there, it's cold. We're glad that you're here this evening and sharing in this experience, and we welcome the spirits that are going to be within communication with us. So sit back and enjoy the show. Thanks, Dom.
And what James was kind of talking about is something we were discussing before the show, was that we found that during our Loving Whisper sessions, that if we don't do a burst session, 80% of the time we don't get anything. We don't find any findings. So what we're going to try to do in the future with some of the episodes and some of the sessions that we're doing is we're each going to try to use a voice recorder and alternate and see possibly maybe where the communication is coming in full strength. But we did go over the footage from our last session that we did, and we didn't find anything. Not anything super substantial. And when I say super substantial, I'm referring to it's audible enough that maybe somebody that's skeptical may be able to hear it and may be able to retain what they're hearing. So usually that's the type of footage or the type of content, type of evidence or findings that we try to put out there throughout our whole channel. But that's just something we're going to go forward with. And I think we're on our 35th episode. And I'm kind of throwing this out there. We didn't talk about this. I'm just throwing it out there. I think maybe tonight, let's talk about Loving Whispers. Let's, the three of us and everybody in the chat, what is everybody enjoying about Loving Whispers? What are we finding is some of the good questions, some of the things that are coming through good? I'm going to start with Renee first on that. How do you feel about the Loving Whispers, Renee?
I love the show. I think it's great. I think the concept is great. I think what is frustrating for me, I think, with all of this is what I hear doesn't, it's not transmitting necessarily over the spirit box. So sometimes I feel like, well, what are people thinking, when I'm stating, what I'm hearing and the communication I'm having with the spirit or spirits at the time. So at times it could be a little frustrating for me, but I do enjoy the spirit communication, and I hope that throughout the episodes that the spirits are able to more frequently transmit what they're saying to me and what I'm hearing and what I'm relaying over the spirit box so everybody else can hear. Because I think that what's really important to gather or to understand for people is, for me, is wanting to be able to share in the experience of my everyday life with the spirits and what I'm hearing, and so that people can enjoy that too. Because it is something that I love. I mean, it's a part of my everyday life, and I think if more people could experience what I experience, even if it's at a different level, then I think there would be a little bit more understanding. So, but I love it. I love, with the communication. I love joking with the spirits. I love taking the trips with them every Thursday night. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they really look forward to that. And, I think it's also showing people that when you are doing ITC research and communicating with spirits, that it doesn't always have to be these questions, that when, a person passes on, the soul is the soul. It's always going to remain the same. So your spiritual DNA is encoded with all of your life experiences, all of your personalities and stuff. So it makes it really interesting that when you can communicate with the spirit and have fun with them, that they're just letting their true soul self really shine through too. So you get to really experience their personalities in a more comfortable way, I guess. At least more comforting for them too. So I don't know if I answered your question properly, but
No,
that's
I kind of winged it tonight because I mean we don't do any scripting on any of these sessions that we do. It's all kind of improv or kind of go with the flow. And we've talked a few times in the past about different things with Loving Whispers and content that we're doing, but I mean, to really focus and kind of talk to the people that are viewing this as well, to kind of get some of their thoughts and some of their ideas together with us, because we are doing this together. I just think it's a fantastic thing to try to do for this evening. In a little bit, we can go and do spirit communication, or at least try to. But James, what's your thoughts with how the Loving Whispers is kind of coming along? I mean, this is 35 weeks, but it's closer to, we've taken probably 5-10 weeks off, so we're closer to almost a year doing this. I think it was January? January is when we started.
Yes.
Doing this series. So I mean, we've almost come full circle to a year. We're getting there. We're about a month and a half, 2 months away. So what's your thoughts on how it's coming along?
I'll second what Renee says. I can't say it any better than she did there. But I don't know. I find the shows. I find it's evolved since I started working with you on it, and that's been a couple of years, anyways.
Yeah, we've done. We did the live spirit frequencies with Live Paranormal, and then after working with Renee, we came up with this. The Loving Whispers. This is the second generation or second iteration of it. The first time, and I know we said it early on, was basically somebody would call in, and we would try to focus the session on them trying to contact their loved one. And I felt uneasy. I felt very uneasy about doing that personally. And I think I did have you on a few times with that as well. But it just felt slightly uneasy because to try to say specifically, this is who we're talking to. We are absolutely talking to your aunt or your uncle or your cousin or your fiance or whoever. Mm-hmm. And it just felt completely unlike me and unlike what we try to represent, because we can't give that 100%. Not until we get 100% validation completely out in the field, that we can absolutely say, okay, this is Bob Turner from 23 Main Street in Illinois, Chicago, or you know what I mean. You can't do it until you got the complete specifics. So I'm happy we switched, and when we came on with Renee, we've definitely it's been a whole new situation, a whole new thing that we're learning all together, I think. But I'm
No,
sorry,
you're
I didn't mean to
right.
butt
It
in.
has. No, you're right. No, it's okay. It's your show. No, you're right. It has been. It's an ongoing. How do I describe that? I'm not too good at describing things. It's ongoing. It's growing with every season. It's, you know what I mean. We're expanding on to other things. I don't know. Personally, I love this show. It's a good show. We've got a great crowd. I mean, you can't ask for anything better.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. But I'm still having a hard time, and I'm still learning. You know, trying to decipher the voices and all that there. But you know, I don't claim to be a professional. I never will. So, but I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy being here, and I enjoy our everybody in the chat room. I mean, it's a great show, though.
And speaking of everybody in the chat room, I'm going to go ahead and give shout-outs. Paranormal Intermission, Lady J, Judy Wilson, Angelic Comfort, which is Renee. If you guys haven't checked out Renee's channel, please do that. Angelic Comfort, you can click right on her. On the side of her name, there's 3 dots, and it'll take you right to her channel. Doppelganger, Female Paranormal Investigators. Let me see if there's anybody else. Lady J again. Yeah, I figured, you know, after almost a year of doing this, is there, and I'm talking to everybody in the chat, is there different things, different questions or thoughts that you guys would like to see within Loving Whispers? Different methodologies. James and I have tried, we've tried numerous different methods. We've done the water ITC, the Ouija board, different spirit writing. We've done quite a few different things with other series that we've done. We're just curious what everybody would like to see with us doing this, and you know, what questions can we ask as investigators, as researchers, to give a skeptic or give a person that is questioning the paranormal that just that peak of interest to get them maybe to be interested and maybe help the field. And actually, I'm going to throw that question at you, James, because I know you're skeptical. And what do you personally feel as a skeptical researcher? Do you feel that maybe could help the field by maybe a question or a methodology? I know I'm throwing a hard one right at you.
Yeah,
I do
you
apologize,
are. Thanks, buddy. I owe you for that one. I don't know, the way I look at it when it comes down to the investigations and such like that, I think simple is best. I see a lot of toys, I see a lot of tech out there, I see a lot of stuff, and to get best results, and I don't know. When's the last time we've actually tried using ghost boxes and that on here? Just curiosity.
I think we actually ended up trying to utilize a physical box. I want to say we used the Echo Vox the first time we did this. The first time we came back with Loving Whispers. And I'm not sure that we've tried a physical box.
I think we did one time, Dom. I think we did. I think we did. I think we tried yours, didn't we?
You might have.
I know we did the Echo Vox. The very first week we had to use the Echo Vox because, and I remember this. My mouse is acting funky. The Phasma box, since I was a beta tester, lost its expiration. For any of the extreme senses software that we were beta testing, it lost its expiration. So we were unable to utilize that because, silly me, the day I'm about to come back with everybody doing this, all three of us coming back, and it's not working. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
I remember that.
This is what I want you to come up with, Dom. You ready?
uh-oh.
I want you to come up with some sort of a vision and hearing apparatus that a person who can't see, who can't hear, can put this apparatus on. It doesn't have to be big and clunky. That connects to me somehow, that they're able to see and hear what I experience when I'm doing spirit communication. There you go. There's your challenge.
All right. Well, as long as you're okay with me with a scalpel and a drill, we can stick some wires in your head and try to do all that stuff.
I'm glad I'm over here. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Figure it out. You're the tech guy.
Well, that
Well,
would be
no,
like
I-
taking someone's consciousness and putting it in someone else. And I'm
But
not
they
sure
have-
that's been
I mean,
possible yet.
They have all this other virtual reality type stuff. There's got to be something that you can come up with. I believe in you.
And
Don't
James,
be
you're a tech
speechless.
guy too. I think the only way to do that is to really have a computer focused on how you think and analyze exactly how you think and program it so it thinks like you, and then you would make a virtual thing. But again, that you're in the paranormal realm of the unknown, so how would you be able to get the unknown to to affect that? I don't know.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll let you try that on someone else. I'm okay.
I do not want to drill holes in Renee's head. I don't.
You know. For something like, the EEG tabs and the wires and even something like that, if you connect that up and somehow, so people can experience, I mean, because it's really a beautiful thing. It really is. For those of you who cannot see spirits and who cannot hear the spirit communication, it really is a very beautiful time. It's a beautiful moment. And it's very moving a lot of the times. And like, even when I do readings, I mean, Dom, you've witnessed it. You've seen me give readings at the events and stuff. And to be able to relay a message to somebody and have it be spot on, and, just feeling like I wish I could just show them that they're standing right there, that, they could actually hear the words being spoken, and transmitted through time and space, to be able to have that person I'm working with share in that experience instead of just saying, yes, that would be them. Yes, those are key words. Yes, and then crying, and then me crying. I'm crying because I know that I am promoting healing, but I'm also crying going, God, I wish, they could really experience this because it's really so beautiful, and I really feel that in a lot of cases too, if people could experience it, who are afraid because things are going on in their home, I think it would cause a calmness, a less fear, because we have so many of these paranormal shows with so much melodrama, and people, their shows, everything on TV is scripted. That even the reality shows that people get hooked on, they're all scripted. They have to be. Okay, so I think it would release a lot of fear that people have with, spirits. Um, I don't know, but it really is a beautiful thing. I mean, it really is. Nothing much startles me except for haunted houses. um, but I think that being able to communicate with the other side, it helps me even in my personal life as far as releasing any fears that I have with other parts of my life, or um, with how I handle different situations. It's made me a stronger person, not just based on the trials and tribulations and the experiences I've had within my life, but with the other side. Um, they can be kind of like a cheering squad, you know, and really be able to like boost people and help them with their self-esteem, help them with the different parts of their lives that they're weaker in. I mean, it really is an amazing and beautiful thing. And what we do here with Loving Whispers does also help relay that, especially when they can hear the response back to the spirit boxes. But there's got to be some sort of other breakthrough. I think it needs to be brought up to another level. Just I think in the ITC community alone.
Well, with everything you just said, something popped in my head in the capacity of, if you could explain and you could describe kind of what's happening, what you see, what you feel, and almost if you can describe it to a point where it could be painted or it could be turned into a piece of art,
Hmm.
you could almost take what you're seeing and what you're hearing and either have somebody draw it, make maybe like a book out of it or a comic book, or the other extent is you could do small clips, try to
Hmm.
film something in a small clip to kind of give a visualization of what you're seeing, what you're sensing.
Hmm.
But again, with great detail is the only way you could really push that forward for people to be able to
Right.
see that.
And there are psychic mediums who do that. There are mediums who do that when they do a reading. Um, their readings are more based on like their artistic work. They'll sit down and they'll paint or draw what it is that they're seeing. Um, and even still, sometimes what comes out doesn't necessarily um, look identical to what would have been in the living, because what they're seeing is the soul, the actual soul, okay, which does not represent that of the physical world. It's a totally different appearance. I know with me, when I have a person, a spirit in front of me, I'll see the soul, as they are now. Um, and then I'll see flashes of what they looked like in the physical world. Um, but the one thing that always stays the same no matter what is the eyes. And it's the same thing with the reincarnation. The eyes are always going to be the same. So it it makes it a little bit difficult, um, because, like I said, what we see and what was, there's going to be some discrepancy,
And I'd like
if
to
that
give a
makes any
huge shout
sense.
out to Spooky and Raven, that just popped in the chat. For any viewers or anybody in the chat, if you guys haven't checked out Spooky Raven, definitely check out their channel as well. They do great content, and it's usually on Tuesday evenings. I'm just trying to, lately I've been trying to do more shout outs for a lot of the channels and things like that, especially the ones I really, enjoy watching myself. So, but yeah, I think there's possibly a way to convey exactly what you're going through and what you're viewing. It's just a matter of figuring out the right outlet.
Yeah, I know. I We'll figure it out somewhere. Someone in the ITC community will figure it out. But I think that the main thing we need to focus on is less of the fear with the communication and with spirits, and recognizing what's scripted and what's not, and being able to show the actual beauty that is within the spirit realm and within the communication and everything. It's not all drama. It's not all this, adrenaline rush. Oh my God, and then perceiving things to be what they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like with shadow people and different things like that. And we've talked about that, Dom, and spirits are going to present themselves. They're going to present themselves. Most people, when they do they'll see something movement out of the corner of their eye. It could be a shadow, and at that point, that's how that spirit's going to be able to present to get you to recognize it. So I have several different thoughts even on shadow people and what they are, So I just think that with our show, we show and enhance the beauty of spirit communication and the spirit realm, where it needs to be promoted more. People need to be able to see that instead of the all of the drama and I'm just putting it out there.
I'm gonna throw this to each of us, and I'm gonna answer it myself, but I'm gonna answer it last, and I'm gonna go to each one of you guys, and I'm gonna start with James. What is your viewpoint on demons and the paranormal?
Okay. My personal thoughts, and these are my personal thoughts only, is that demons and angels to me are just basically the way I would describe it is if you were a good person and you pass, you're a good person in the afterlife. If you're a real, how do you say that? Miserable person in life, you're going to be a miserable person after life, and it carries over. So for me, as for demons and angels, I think, as for myself, it's more mythical than anything else. Like I said, just my thoughts.
Okay. Renee, same question.
Repeat that for me, please.
What is your viewpoint, your personal viewpoint on demons and the paranormal?
Well, just like anything, there has to be balance, right? Within our lives, there has to be balance, and it's the same thing within the spiritual realm. Okay, so do I believe that there are demons? Of course I do. Do I believe that we have as many demonic cases as we have in the spirit or in the paranormal field as portrayed? No, I do not. And I think a lot of that comes from lack of education. Like James said, if you had somebody who was a real bastard during their time during their physical time here on Earth, sometimes it gets enhanced on the other side.
You weren't sure to say it, she said it for you.
Exactly.
It becomes enhanced, if you have somebody who, is just, created all sorts of havoc, it's going to be magnified. You know what I'm saying? So, either way, it's balanced. So some of those people who are real bastards in the physical world can still be, like I said, on the other side. And in some cases, you can have an entity or a spirit who can act like that of a demon. Anything, you could do anything on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Just like you can get away with a lot of stuff here in the physical world. Of course, you're going to get caught. And again, the other side, it's it's free form. So, I think that if you have somebody who's like very fearful and always thinking that everything's demonic, and you have, one of those spirits who was just miserable and nasty and, a bully. I call them spirit bullies. They're going to continue and they're going to play off that and they're going to do things that are going to replicate that of a demonic haunting. Okay, because you attract what your your energy, what you, just like Dom, if say you were bullying somebody or you felt somebody could be bullied easy and you were, a bully, right? What are you going to do? You're going to pick on them, right? You're going to continue to harass and bully them. There's no different. It's no different. And this is what I was talking about with the spiritual DNA. Everything from each lifetime that you have gone through, your personality, everything is encoded into your spiritual DNA. So, do I believe in demons? Yes, I do believe that there are demons, just like I believe that there are angels. Again, talking about balance, have to have that balance. But also, like I said, there are many spirits who can portray that of a demonic haunting based on a person's fear. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So I could have been asked this 4 years ago, and I'm sure I asked myself this 4 years ago during an interview that I had a friend on there, and I probably was asked this. I think that demons sell. I think demons are monetizable, and a lot of people use that term to make money. Do I believe that they exist? I believe that I believe angels exist, and I believe that demons exist, but I believe they're far few and in between. And people that are talking about God and everything else, and I'm blowing some smoke in the air, and I know I am, but a lot of individuals, when they're talking about religion, when it comes to the paranormal field, a majority, and I would say 90% of individuals tied in with religion in the field, when it comes to demons and angels and things like that, are not actually super religious. Like they're not priests, they're not nuns, they're not clergy. They're just individuals that kind of know that the words are bigger than what they are. So I question when anybody says demon. I also question when anybody says angel. Do I think I've came across things that are evil? Yes, of course. I've had I felt something around my neck before, and that's not comfortable. You know what I mean? That's not at all. But yeah, I think they exist. I definitely do. And wow, that definitely Doppel's thing is being held for review. Let's unreview that.
I clicked show.
But no, I think there's a possibility. It all depends on your faith. It all depends on some people believe in heaven, some people believe in nirvana. There's all these different religions, but all of them kind of have angels and demons, and all of them have hierarchies and things that are in the negative. So I think there's some basis to it. I definitely do. And I by no means, I'm not a doctor of theology. I would never say that I am. But I'm just going from what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've experienced, within this journey, within the field. And the word demon, it sells. People hear that and they're like, holy crap, wow. And that's scary to me. That's scary to me as an individual that is in this field, because that's what attracts people. And that's scary if you think about it. Like that term or that word attracts a lot more people to what's going on than saying even the word love. That's kind of scary. All right, so we're kind of turning this episode or session into a discussion. With Loving Whispers, we've gotten some profound findings. We've gotten some absolutely mind-blowing things, like spirits saying James's name very often, or asking them if they like bacon or ham. They like toast, you know. And there's tons more. You can find more of the findings in the playlist for findings from Loving Whispers. But what do you guys think about the findings? What do you guys think about things that we are actually finding throughout our journey within Loving Whispers? I'm going to James on this one first.
Okay. Well, like you said, it's no secret that I am skeptical. I'm a little more open-minded than I used to be. But I will say, and I will admit, there have been a lot of findings there since I've worked with you that even I can't explain. Right? But I do get a kick out of the fact, yeah, they're always calling my name in that, but no. Like I said, I can't deny it. I can't deny we've had the findings, so I don't know. It's a learning experience every day for me. What's your input on that, Tom?
We discussed this earlier before we started our episode, and you asked me specifically, you know, maybe we're getting more stuff because I'm doing the burst sessions. Maybe it's because my place is really haunted, so I'm getting a lot more communication. And
yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. Which area we're getting more. It just seems, you know, when I'm doing the burst session here. Anyways, go on.
And to be completely honest, I do think your area that you're doing the shows in definitely has activity. I'm definitely hearing people talking, and I know no one's talking, and I'm definitely getting your name, and I'm getting it through this device and through your voice recorder. You know, that's the type of stuff that's coming through. So I mean, you definitely have activity. So I mean, it's always interesting to have you do it. And the other side of it is with the Spirit Box Weekly, I'm already doing here. So it's like, you know what I mean, switch over to somewhere else to give a little different scenario. But I do completely wholeheartedly agree with what you were saying with I think we should rotate it, and we can really pinpoint
where it's coming from.
Where it's really rooted at.
Yeah, I'm curious myself there, because I noticed the difference there. Like for the last couple of shows, like I haven't been doing burst sessions, and like you were saying, I've noticed as well, like the responses have gone right downhill. Like we still get them, but not as much as before.
Yeah, so. And it was really odd, because I mean I really thought about this a lot, and that's why I wanted to discuss it, especially during this discussion with everybody in the chat, and you know I love their opinions too. But I've noticed that we did burst sessions, we didn't do burst sessions, we did burst sessions, didn't do burst sessions, and a lot of it had to do with like audio issues or equipment messing up, things like that, things that happen. You know what I mean? It happens with anything you're doing, and you'll notice that like as we were doing the burst sessions, if you look back through, it was almost, I would say 12, 13 weeks straight. We captured pretty good findings. And it wasn't always through the burst recorder. It was sometimes through the Phasm box, sometimes through the device that we're using for spirit communication, or it was also through the voice recorder. So it was both. And then after we kind of stopped doing it, you'd get a little bit through the spirit communication device, but sometimes you wouldn't get much, and it would be highly questionable whether you had anything. But when we did the burst session, it was almost like we magnified the amount of energy that they could use to communicate.
Yeah. But see, that goes back to what I was trying to explain before about going back to the basics and then the investigations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of new technology out there, and it works. And a lot of it works great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. For me, the easier the technology is, the easier for them to understand and be able to communicate with you. It's not too confusing, right?
Right.
Just my theory on it.
And Renee, your thoughts?
Well, if
I
I
mean, you
didn't
got the
hear
inside info. They're talking to you.
Yeah.
I think that, like, when we do the burst sessions, and I always say that, digital recorder is definitely a way to go. I mean, going back to basics, something simple, something that picks up the slightest sound. Um, we've had great response. Even on investigations, that we've had, phenomenal responses to our questions, and even been able to see how, even before we ask our question, that they're answering our thoughts. So I really think that the combination is good. And even with the digital recorder, we're able to hear in, like, I'll type in what I'm hearing James in the chat room, and he'll ask a question, and then you can hear it coming over in the whisper or whatever it is, um, that spirit can get out there energy wise to answer the question. I mean, you've heard, even if I've been wrong, I mean, we do actually get more of a response, but it's usually going back through the findings when we hear it. It's not something that we can necessarily hear during the show. I think with the Phasma box, I think that I love the Phasma box. I have that myself, and I love utilizing that too, for the conversations and everything else, because I can carry on here at home a really good conversation, almost like free flowing with the spirits, and that's really good too. And again, I don't have to speak; they just read my mind, and it comes through. So, but I think with the digital recorder, we can actually hear the person's voice, their actual tone, their actual sound, how easy or how difficult it is for them to transmit that energy of what it is that they're trying to say, and when you hear that whisper, that's like what I hear within inside of me, so it's close, but it just takes longer to hear the results. Now, Dom, you have really keen hearing. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I killed that with, loud music and everything else in my older years. And as I've gotten younger, it's showing. So
Mm-hmm.
I
I know
think
that one.
that, right?
I see. I'm sorry to intrude. I disagree with that statement. I disagree,
With what?
and the reason I disagree with it is I think the more practice with anything, the more in tune you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with trying to listen for spirit and trying to really hear what they're trying to say, it's more practice than it is actually your ears being like highly functioning. Because you're really with the spirit communication devices. When it comes to, like, I'm in a room and I say somebody just talked, that's totally different. If you're listening to heavy music and it's blasting your eardrums, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
But with the spirit communication devices, I think it's practice. You know what I mean? The more you practice, the more you're using them, the easier it starts to become for you to really hear what you're supposed to be trying to hear for.
Well, and there's certain pitches that I medically have been proven that I cannot hear, no matter how much I try. That's gone because not just from listening to music and stuff when I was older, but also I had a job that I worked, for 8 years where there were centrifuges and stuff going, and that job really killed several pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So like where I work now, when there's certain things that are going off right now, like say the steamer, and the alarm's going off to let me know the steamer's, I don't hear it because I don't hear that pitch. So that, medically proven that those pitches I don't hear, and there's like 3 or 4 pitches that I don't hear, and some of them would be that of using the apparatuses,
Gotcha.
of the apparatuses that we use. When I hear spirits, sometimes I hear them, physically hear them, and other times it's more of the telepathic communication. So there's a couple of different ways, and again, it depends on the pitch that's being spoken or the energy of that pitch that's being transmitted to what I'm going to actually physically hear or not. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we actually, it's almost been almost an hour actually, and we will be back next week, and we're gonna do a normal session. I just kind of, it popped in my head earlier, and I didn't really say anything to either one of you guys, but it just popped in my head that maybe it's time we should discuss Loving Whispers. Maybe it's time people should really kind of, a lot of you guys kind of gotten to know us. I'm crazy. I eat some funky stuff. And James is the sexy, funny guy, and Renee is the calm, cool, collected individual that is always in tune and peaceful and has great energy.
Thank you.
And
I resemble that remark.
I'm giving compliments. It happens every once a year. It happens.
Well, it's not often a guy tells me I'm sexy, so I'll take it this time.
Uncomfortable. I did not try to pull a Harvey Weinstein. Sorry, not my place. But sorry, James.
That's okay.
But
That's funny.
I just like to thank everybody that takes part in Loving Whispers, and all the questions, all the times people are trying to translate. BPG is usually in here. Azazel is usually in here, and I don't see you guys in here tonight. But I do appreciate everybody's thought, everybody's insight about what we're doing, and together, James, Renee, myself, and everybody in the chat, everybody that views this, I'd like to try to see how far we can truly take Loving Whispers. Hopefully to get true communication, to get that communication that a skeptic can hear it and say, oh shit, I'm not a skeptic anymore. You know what I mean? That's the goal for any researcher or any true investigator, trying to give the findings out there for people in the field. But I'm going to switch over to James, and we're pretty close to calling it good for tonight.
Well, I just want to say there's a Jessica that wants to come through. So if we have some time and we can light up the Phasma box, I think we need to find out why she's so anxious. And maybe it's because she wants to take a trip. I don't know.
Well, let's turn the Phasma box on, and let's go ahead and have you see if they want to go on a trip.
Okay.
And we'll leave the Phasma box on. I did click on it, and it's doing what it does. It's taking a minute.
It's doing what it does. Yeah, she's been kind of that was Maya.
Yep. All right. Let's see how loud this is or isn't. We'll find out in a second.
Latin Banks on.
Sound loud to me.
Sounds good.
Hello, hello. Is anybody out there?
Helps if I turn.
Hi. Good evening.
Hello?
I keep hearing Jessica. Jessica, are you there? I keep hearing the name Jessica. Is that you?
Thought I heard a yes very faintly.
Jessica, what would you like to talk to us about tonight? And I'm hearing the name Randy.
Randy.
Yep. Do you guys just want to step forward for the trip? What do you think? Where do you guys want to go tonight?
Paris?
We can go to Paris. Is that where you want to go, or do you feel something's going to happen in Paris? You're trying to tell us. We can take a trip to Paris. What would you like to do?
Start.
Do you want to, like, I almost said you want to go wee wee. I wasn't talking about tinkle, but I don't speak French, but we can go and have fun if you want to go to France. Have you always wanted to go to France when you were alive?
Said the same phrase twice.
Yeah, it did.
Zamo de KM?
That sounded like French too, right? So, when we go to Paris tonight, one of you can speak French, obviously, correct?
Who's
Okay.
Who's Kel? Who's Kyle or Kel?
I don't know. Is it somebody there with you right now?
Is this someone you're trying to communicate with?
One. one, he'll move on.
Hmm.
Is there anything you guys would like to say to me tonight? Are you guys going on a trip with Renee tonight?
I think they look forward to that every week. We're going to dance in the stars, and then we will... Oh my God, I'm scrolling through this and I'm seeing the Eiffel Tower right in front of me, so I guess it's confirmation we're going to France tonight. I kid you not. So we will go to the Eiffel Tower. Are we going to fly off the tower? Are we going to, like, fly?
You're gonna Peter Pan that stuff.
We're going to Peter Pan that stuff.
Yeah.
Oui, oui.
Haberdack.
I lost my marbles. I lost my marbles.
We're going to oui, oui.
Off the Eiffel. Yeah.
Off the Eiffel Tower. Oh, dear.
Alright, I'm gonna turn this off and
Okay, let them know. And
well,
so, half past bedtime, pick me up, and we will go to Paris, and we I can't even talk. We will be French people for the evening, and we will have a lot of fun. And there's, again, I'm seeing another picture of the Eiffel Tower. I am not searching it. I am not looking for it. I look forward to traveling with all of you tonight and with you guys being my tour guides. You have a question? What is it that you want to ask? Do you have a question that you want to ask us?
yeah, I heard it try to say something about a question, but I didn't hear it come through.
I don't know if I heard where are we. I'm not certain about that. Can you tell us where you are? Can you describe where you are?
Sorry about that, love piece. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
No,
coming.
I think we're just going to have to take our trip tonight. They'll be my tour guides, and we'll get spiritually high and drunk, and well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I love the trips that I take with the spirits on Thursday nights. I mean, I go other times too, not just Thursday nights, but I think this is, I think they look forward to it too.
Yeah,
So
I
we
just
will be in
figured,
Paris.
we've been doing this for quite a while. It's probably time for us to kind of do something like this
Mm-hmm.
evening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in, and we will see you next week. I'm feeling quite a lot better. I do apologize about last week, um, but don't forget to check out Angelic Comfort, Love Peace Paranormal, Pumpkinhead Paranormal, Spooky Raven, and their fantastic shows. And just check out other paranormal stuff on YouTube. I know there's definitely a plethora of it, but there are some really good people out there that are doing the paranormal stuff. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go ahead and switch over to James if you'd like to say anything before we leave.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Well, I'd like to thank everyone tonight for showing up because without you guys, we don't have an audience. And we've got one of the best audiences out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to thank Dom and Renee for having me on as usual. And it's been a great show. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Like and subscribe and share. Have a great night, everyone. Dom?
And Renee, I got you on.
Okay, thank you. One of the things I do want to ask Dom is, are we doing a show Thursday night on Thanksgiving? Because I will not be around to do that. So, um, in that being said, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving for those of you who celebrate. Um, I want to thank James and Dom for this amazing opportunity to be able to at least, to relay what messages I do receive, or to try, with these spirit communications, so you guys can experience a little bit of my world, and of course the spiritual world. And thank each of you for coming in on Thursday nights and spending this time with us, this precious time, and thanking the spirits that pop in and do the communication with us. They know what we're trying to do, and I am very grateful and feel blessed that they try to be a part of this with us. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, with Thanksgiving being Thursday, I didn't even think about it. I guess
It just popped in my
I
head.
guess we probably won't be doing an episode. I know, James, you guys celebrate Thanksgiving on a different day, don't you?
Yeah, it's long gone. We celebrate ours like a while back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll just
so I
be in a
guess
very
this
noisy
upcoming
environment.
This upcoming Thursday, we won't have a show. But I'll be on Wednesday evening, most likely, for Spirit Box Weekly. We did have a sound gig actually Wednesday evening, but it was canceled. So I should, if all goes in my head the right way that it's in my head, I'll be on Wednesday evening, and then we'll be back next Thursday, not this upcoming Thursday. But I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in, and don't forget, to have a wonderful holiday. If you're from Canada or overseas and you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving, or you have your own celebration of a Thanksgiving, I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving when you had it. And perhaps we'll have a good one here. I don't know. But yeah, we will catch you guys later. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.
Good
Have a
night,
great night,
everybody.
guys.
Namaste.